My hope is that the next video, this video that you're going to watch right now, will not be so crazy that you'll start to wonder what in the world is going on with Randy. But I'm going to step a little bit outside my wheelhouse, and I'm going to talk about a product that I think Elon is working on that I've mentioned a couple of days over the last couple of videos, and I haven't gotten much response. So I want to explain in a little more detail what I have in mind. This is Randy Kirk. Please hit like if you are or wait, maybe you should wait before you hit like this time until you actually like it. And then if you do wait and you push it later, that will give me some idea of whether it worked or not. And then you could hit subscribe, you could hit notify, because we've got a whole bunch of great interviews coming up with it over the next few days. And then, of course, the Patreon opportunity is still there if you'd like to take advantage of it. Okay, let's get into it. I have speculated over the last couple of days that Dojo as a service is much more consumer oriented than any of us have been thinking up until now. When Elon first said back there at AI Day 2, I think it might have been before that, I can't remember for sure. Elon said, look, this is going to be a plug and play system. If we do this, he didn't say they're going to do it. He says it has to be cheaper than NVIDIA. In order for the existing systems that you can get that will do neural net learning, it has to be less expensive, and they would have to have some advantage. Of course, you always want to have a product that is going to be compelling at a these are his words. You have to have a compelling product at a compelling price. So my thinking, though, was if this is going to be plug and play for somebody who needs to create a learning system, a system that is capable of being trained to take over certain activities, similar to what FSD does now, or similar to what the bot will do, similar to what ChatGPT is now doing. If you wanted to do those kinds of things, then you would need Dojo in order to throw in all of the data, and then for Dojo, for you to prompt it and tell it exactly what you want Dojo to do with it. And all of that data, then there will be enough compute to be able to compress it and transform it and make it into something that would actually then be able to execute on the things you wanted to do, like drill a hole in a wall in the case of the bot. Okay. So, and then there will be the matter of accumulating the data, whether that's visually or whether those are words, but those things are a given. Okay, so we have words, we have data, we have the internet, we have all kinds of places we can gather data. So I thought this would be like a university project. Somebody at a university would need this. They've got a huge database of information that they need to bring into line in such a way as that it now creates a compelling result. And then I started looking at what ChatGPT and the other recent inventions can do. And I thought, well, these will do a lot. They will go out into all of the existing data that they have available, and they will do things for you. They will accumulate the data in the way that you want, assort it, systematize it, and provide it for you in rhyme if you want it to, or in a chart or in a graph, even in a picture. So that was a step. And I have to admit that I have been quandering. I've been wondering, what is this intermediate step? And I listened to a couple of videos today, and I think I've got it. Okay, I could be completely wrong on this now, so please put in the comments below if I've blown it. I'm going to use a real estate transaction as my theory. I'm saying that consumers will be able to use Dojo to be able to train our small businessmen or whatever will be able to use Dojo to train a system for taking over the jobs of multiple employees or assistants or other sets of systems. Or anyway, so let's try it. Let's see if this works. Let me know if I'm on the right track. I've already got a note into John and Scott, because I'm way over my head here. So maybe John and Scott will come on in a day or two and show me where I'm completely whack. But okay, here we go. So I want to buy a house. I know some of the basic criteria. Or let's say I'm a real estate agent and I have people calling me who want to buy a house, and I have a bunch of things that I need to do as soon as I get that phone call. And so the things I need to, because I just wrote a book not a while ago on how to buy a house. So I know this, I know this system pretty well. So, okay, so you have the process of listening to the client gives you criteria. Here's what I can afford. Here's the loan here that I think I can do. Here's the size of the house that I want. Here's the neighborhoods, et cetera, et cetera. There's a whole raft of criteria that this person brings to the table. And maybe those are rated, you know, this one needs to be within this range, or this one is 90% important. This one is only 50% important. I could live without these three, but I have to have these two. So there's a whole bunch of data that's coming in from this client that normally the real estate agent would put in their head. And then that real estate agent would go onto the internet and they would start looking at the various databases that are out there that they can look to, like Zillow and like Redfin and like the real estate, I'm forgetting the listing service. They can look at all those data, and it takes sometimes hours to go through and try to find these, you know, the homes that are going to meet the criteria. So I think right now, ChatGPT probably would help that system. You could you could type in the criteria for the house, and you could throw that in and say, hey, please go out and look at all the databases and tell me which homes would fit this. But it would be a little complex because it might be hard for ChatGPT to understand this one only has a weight of 3 and this one has a weight of 10. But those could be supplemental chat. So you could go back in and say, well, you know what, these 10 are fine, but none of them had this, which was a very high criteria. Do we have anything in this neighborhood that has this criteria, or do we have to go outside the neighborhood to get that criteria? So there would be a process where you're back and forth, even with ChatGPT to potentially get this information so that you would now be ready to go. Now, once you've done that and you've now got some homes, now you'd have to get on the phone or get an email or send a text, or possibly do it on Zillow, where you send it directly to the other agent on Zillow. So one way or the other, now you need to contact or get together with the agent or the homeowner, if it's a direct, if there's no agent involved, and start setting up a tour for your client. Now, at the same time, your client might have hours of when they're available, when they're not available. So now you're back and forth. You're calling the agent, you're calling the client, you're trying to figure out, and you're trying to put this all together on a certain day, and back and forth. And it's really difficult. And sometimes the homes are already sold, or you find out when you text or call, you find out, gee whiz, there's already 5 bids. So, but you're still open to put in a bid if you want, but there's already 5 bids. And we're not going to show the house anymore. You'd have to do it blind. Anyway, all these things could happen. And it's not that you have, again, the agent, experienced agent goes, okay, I know what to do. So finally, now you've get the ChatGPT can't do any of this. The agent's got to do all of it. And so the idea might be that if you had an app that would be something that you could teach it the training process for doing that you would take it through the steps. It would follow you as you did the steps, or you would type in the steps that you're doing and then have it go ahead and do those steps. And then you would grade it and say whether or not it had done the steps well. Did it do well on selecting of the potential homes? Did it do well on setting up the appointments? Did it do well on making decisions about whether to even go to the appointment once the texts were sent? And maybe the texts go back and forth a few times where there's questions and answers in order to make sure that that it was an appropriate house to go see, even though it looked good on paper. Maybe it's not even worth doing. So this goes back and forth. You're training it to do this, to go back and forth. You're training it to make decisions, and then you're training it to set up a schedule by going back and forth with both the homeowner or the agent and the client. And so now you've got a schedule of 5 homes to see. So now you and the client, this is the part that right now, at least, you don't have a robot to go do this for you. So you and the client go out, visit the homes. And then while you're there, potentially you've taught the agent here, the computer, the app that you're making here, you've taught it how to analyze the data that you now collect at the scene. So there's data in terms of what do you see in the home? What was the curb appeal? How did the house look when you got in? What did the client feel about the house? What was the on a scale of 1 to 10, how did the client like the house or not like the house? How many bids were in? Was there any information you could gather from that? You're doing this as a real estate agent, but now you're training the system to be able to, you're going to type this into the system so that now the computer can take all that into consideration. And then the computer, at the end of the day, you say, okay, that's all the houses we want to look at right now. We had a couple that we liked. We need to go to the next step. And that might be the loan process to make sure that the client can get the loan necessary. Or maybe you've already done that before. That could be a step that you've done even before you see the homes, is get the home appraised, get the home, get the homeowner, the potential, your prospect, your client, get them approved for the loan. And maybe, again, the computer is doing that, sending out the prospective situation to several of your favorite lending agencies or brokers, et cetera, et cetera. So this all could be done. This could all be trained, and therefore your assistant is doing all this for you for free once you've trained it how to do these things based on this data input and based on having it set up to do the various steps. Am I on the complete wrong track, or is this make sense? Is this something that you would need Dojo to do? Is it possible to set up, do that now? Is it more likely that somebody would set up a system like that and then sell it to you for $100 a month or something like that? Or is this something that a consumer, or either a business or even a consumer who is interested in analyzing a set of data and then functionally making it into something that then could do work for them, that would result in a low cost or no cost way to get the job done? Is that a good example? Did I do that right? Hit the comments below. I know I may be completely off my track here, and like I say, we'll get John and Scott to set me straight if necessary. So if you liked it, this is the time. Let me know, because then I can look at it. And comments for sure, because if you know more about this, please tell me if I'm on the right track or not. But the key is here, of course, this is all about, if this is right, if I'm right, that there is a intermediary, and that's what Elon was saying. You'd be able to plug and play. You take your laptop and plug it into Dojo. And I thought he was talking about university grad students and people that are dealing with these kind of data, and large companies that, can't afford to set it up themselves. I thought that's who he's talking about, but then it occurred to me, maybe not. Maybe this is something that even Randy and you could use to do your small business, or to do something that you're just doing as for fun, or to learn more, or whatever. Anyway, subscribe, notified, and of course, Patreon. And it's been great talking to you.